In today's video, I'm looking at Night Shift by Siouxsie and the Banshees. I kind of feel like I'm not doing my duty as a guitar teacher if I don't look at least one John McGeoch track every year or so, and this one's been requested by a couple of people, and it's a pretty intense track, even by Siouxsie and the Banshees standards. This is a dark song, but I hope that's not going to stop us having a bit of fun learning how to play it. So I'm going to begin by playing through the tune for you, then I'll take you through what's happening in terms of the guitar parts. Also, of course, a big part of this is getting the sound, so I'm going to be discussing gear, pedals and all of that stuff towards the end of the video. So let's get started. And this tune is from 1981. It appears on this album Juju, which I think many people would consider to be Siouxsie and the Banshees' masterpiece. For me, this is an essential album. It contains some of John McGeoch's finest guitar playing, so do check this out if you've not already heard it. And as I've said, this song is pretty dark. I think the lyrics were inspired by notorious serial killer Peter Sutcliffe, and the music is kind of equally menacing and brooding, but I'm not going to let that stop me do a nerdy and in-depth YouTube guitar tutorial on it. So let's get started. We're in the key of A minor, or I guess we're in the key of A minor. It's actually a little bit ambiguous in this particular tune. We're certainly starting on an A minor chord, And the first thing you hear is this fantastic bass line. And shall I show you the bass? Let me show you the bass line. Just bear with me and I will switch to the bass. And yeah, the first thing you hear is this. Very simple but really memorable opening to the tune, and he's really just outlining an A minor chord. We've got an open A string and then we've got a C and an E, so that's A minor. Repeating that, and then we're just taking this little shape down by 1 fret, so we're at frets 10 and 9, just moving that down to 9 and 8, and we've still got the open not fifth string. I'm not used to teaching bass. What do you call that on the bass even? I guess that's the 3rd string on a bass. I hope I'm right, but yeah, open A string anyway, and then that little 2-note shape, and that's really what that's implying to me. It's going from A minor and then to an A flat, but you still got that A note in the bass, so A flat with an A in the bass, and that's our little intro. And then for a lot of the song, the verses of this song, he's just using those same shapes, but more of a kind of strummy fashion. So yeah, great kind of menacing bass line. You don't get enough chords played on the bass. I really like it. It's really kind of an effective thing to do. There's also a great chorus sound on the bass, which I did use on my backing track. I haven't got my chorus pedal down here at the moment, but if you are a bass player, chords and a chorus pedal, it's such a great sound. Back to the guitar then, and I suppose by John McGeoch standards, this one is actually quite simple to play. There's nothing majorly technical going on here, and that is one thing that I really like about John McGeoch. He was very much a song player, and yes, he had massive reserves of technique and ideas, but he didn't feel that he had to force all that stuff on the listener unless it was required by the song. So he's very much playing for the song, and sometimes there are quite elaborate technical riffs. Other times, like in this song, there are just some very simple things going on, simple strummed chords, simple arpeggios, and it works perfectly for this song and this situation. Something that many of us guitar players tend to forget, and I know I'm guilty of it from time to time, but you end up kind of showing off and doing this kind of ego driven thing and forgetting about the song, which always has to be the most important thing. And the guitar enters like this, which is really just following that bass line. We're going from A minor and then just moving down by 1 fret, beginning with just a simple open position A minor chord, strumming that once, and then moving down by 1 fret. So if you've got fingers 2 and 3 here, you're going to move those down to the 1st fret, just lifting up the 1st finger, and then you can let the open strings, the open top 2 strings, ring out as well. Got that kind of A flat sound, and we can maybe allow the 5th string to ring out there as well. I can't necessarily hear that on the recording, but that's the general idea. Then he's coming up 12 frets higher and playing a similar kind of thing up here. So and this is really the main riff of the tune. So it's an A minor triad. It's just that A minor chord shape, just bringing that up 12 frets. So it's 14, 14 and 13, and we're just striking that chord 4 times, and these chords are played a little bit staccato, so I'm just releasing pressure with my fretting hand, and the last time I'm letting it ring. Then I've got open 5th string, some more hits on this A minor triad, and then moving that shape down 1 fret to A flat. That's the riff. Which is incredibly simple but so effective and haunting. Next we've got the verse of the tune. Singing starts, and it's outlining those same chords. So McGeoch comes down once again to the open position and just arpeggiates that A minor chord, and then strums, and then I think he plays the riff up here one more time. And we're just leading into the chorus with this, just sliding into the 7th fret on the 5th string. I think it's doubled with another guitar as well. It's such a heavy sound, it really leads into the chorus perfectly. Then we've got what I suppose is the first chorus of the tune. It goes like this. Really just two chords involved here, so we're going from E for one bar down to D for one bar. There are a few ways you could do this. You could just play 5th string root major bar chords, so just E going down to D. It's an 8th note kind of rhythm. You could make those power chords, so just leave out the note on the 2nd string. What I think McGeoch is doing is he's playing the E chord here and then the D chord up here with a 6th string root shape. There's only one video I could find of him playing this tune live, and it's not particularly clear what he's doing, but you can kind of see the hand position vaguely, and it looks like he's playing the E here and then the D a little bit higher up the neck. So it doesn't matter how you do this particularly, but I'm playing the D up here like this. And you can also most of the time hear this little fill where he's just briefly going to a D sus4. So I'm actually playing a D major triad. I've got my thumb over the top playing a root note, and that frees up my pinky to play the 4th, so 12th fret on the 3rd string. You could play that as a regular bar chord. Maybe move your pinky across to get the sus4 or claps it down. I find that a bit more awkward than using the thumb over the top, so that's the approach I'm using here. Then we're back to the main riff again. Before everything stops, there's this really dramatic stop, several of these stops during the tune. It's a very simple device, but again, such an effective kind of songwriting thing to do. Next, I think we've got another chorus, which I'm playing the same as before. And then we return to the main riff. It's played slightly differently this time round. It's more like this. So exactly the same shapes, it's just that minor triad moved down by 1 fret, but now we've got this kind of rhythm. So we're playing the 5th string twice and then the triad twice, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then a little bit of a variation on the rhythm, and then the same thing down by 1 fret. There's a third chorus which is more or less the same, but there's a nice little fill at the end of it, which I will just show you now. So coming out of that D chord shape there, I'm just using my pinky to play the 13th fret on the top 2 strings, so which is giving you that kind of, it sounds like that sort of Hendrix chord sound. It's a bit that kind of sound. It's that sharp 9 sound there. It's that note played against the major 3rd of the chord. So I think that's really cool. really nice touch, just having that little fill in there like that. Then we're into an instrumental section, and it's just based on embellishments of those basic chords, so the A minor going down a semitone. I'm not playing that exactly like the record. I think there are at least two guitars at that point during the tune. They're both playing slightly different things, but it's ideas that are very similar to this. So we've got the A minor triad here, going down to A flat. Then he's coming up a bit higher and he's playing these shapes. So this is 17 on the D, G and B strings, which with an A in the bass, that's giving you an A minor 7 sound. So he's playing that shape. Sometimes playing the 17th fret on the top string as well, and then just moving that down by 1 fret. And really just playing around with those shapes, arpeggiating them in different ways. Sliding into them. Sometimes adding in extra notes as well, so you could play the 20th fret on the B string, that's nice. And sometimes on that shape there at the 16th fret you can just add in the 17th fret on the top string, that sounds cool. So I just really just encourage you to experiment at that point in the tune. So just got the basic shapes, you can throw in some extra notes in and around those shapes, whatever sounds good. Get the delay pedal on at that point as well, it just creates a really nice atmospheric sound. What else have we got? And a lot of this tune is just repetition of these basic ideas with some variations, so I'm not going to go into all of those variations. There is one nice fill that happens a bit later on in the tune that I particularly like, so I'll show that to you. It's a bit that goes like this. It happens in the middle of that riff. We've got the A minor riff, shifting down by 1 fret, and then using this triad shape as the basis of a little fill. So this is the 16th fret with the 17th fret on the top string. I spoke about this shape before. Very cool. Also, something I love in this tune is his use of feedback, and that's something you can hear obviously in one of those gaps where the whole band drops out and you can just hear this really nasty feedback in that gap, and also in that atmospheric section as well. You've got those long sustained notes and he's obviously turned up really loud and they just start feeding back in a really nice kind of musical way. And there's an ending part which is great too, this bit. He's just letting the delay pedal do all of the work here. So we've got an 8-note delay set up, so 1 and 2, and it's a timed delay. Got several repeats, I don't know how many repeats I've got there, but 4 or 5 repeats, and then just playing these triad shapes and letting the delay fill in the gaps. And that's how the tune ends. Brilliant stuff as ever from McGeoch, but I guess the main point I want to make once again in this video is all of this stuff is very simple, but it's so effective and atmospheric. It just works perfectly for the song. Let's talk gear then. McGeoch famously used a Yamaha SG-1000, which I don't own. I have considered getting one actually, an original SG-1000. They do occasionally come up and they're not ridiculous money, so that might happen at some point in the future. I have also got an Eastwood McGeoch 1000, which is a cool guitar, but to be honest I prefer playing my Jazzmaster, so that's what I'm using for this lesson. So yeah, my signal chain is the Jazzmaster. This is an American made Jazzmaster from 10 or so years ago. I think I'm using the bridge pickup today, and then amp is Fender Princeton. I'm just running that clean, and I've got a few pedals down here as well. So for overdrive I decided to go Boss. I've got a Boss OD3, which is a very cool, very affordable overdrive pedal. I love that one. I've got a Rat there, which I used for the heavier guitar sounds. When I did my backing track, I played one guitar part all the way through, and then I just overdubbed a couple of power chords in the chorus sections with still with the Jazzmaster, but with a slightly heavier sound, and for that I used the Rat. And then we come to the flanger, of course. This is the effect that McGeoch was famous for using, the MXR flanger. I can't remember the exact model of this flanger, but you know, as soon as you get one of these things, it's just instant McGeoch, and it's a very distinctive sound. And you know, really for that reason I've kind of avoided using this pedal in my own music, just because it's so associated with John McGeoch. It's very hard to get away from that, but it's such a fantastic sound. And with this pedal I tend to just kind of fiddle with the knobs until it sounds good. I don't actually know what all of these knobs do. Maybe I should read the manual at some point, but all of the controls are quite interactive, so it does take a little bit of tinkering and messing around with the controls to get something that you like. So I was just referencing the original recording and just playing around until it sounded vaguely similar. And then I've got a delay pedal here as well. I wasn't using the delay pedal throughout. You can hear this at certain points on the original recording. I think most obviously you can hear it at the very end of the track, but I switched on the delay pedal during the kind of atmospheric arpeggio section. And the delay pedal that I'm using is another Boss pedal. It's the DD3T. I've got several of these Boss digital delay pedals. I absolutely love them. This one's got a tap tempo function, so you can actually press on the foot switch of the pedal to get those delays in time. And for a tune like this, that's a really useful function. You can just tap on the pedal in that 8th note rhythm, and then everything's going to sound nice and synchronized with the guitar part. Let's hear how all of that sounds then. This is the guitar just going straight into the Princeton with all of the pedals bypassed to begin with. And turning on the Boss overdrive. And then it all comes to life as soon as you switch on the flanger. So and then we've got the delay, which you can hear that that's roughly speaking in an 8th note rhythm to this track. So and then for a bit of a heavier sound, I can just turn on the Rat as well, which works great for the chorus of this tune. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I have tabbed all of this stuff out, and you can find that tab over on my Patreon page, along with my little backing track, which you'll be able to download. Check those things out if you're interested. And you might also like to check out my archive of other John McGeoch lessons. I've looked at many Siouxsie and the Banshees tracks. I've looked at some magazine. I think I've done an Armory show tune as well. So if you're interested, you can find those elsewhere on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.